Have you ever really thought about what you'd do with absolute power, even if it was just for one day? We're about to dive into this really simple story. It's almost like a kid's cartoon that honestly holds up a surprisingly deep mirror to our own ideas about power and leadership.
Well, a young boy named Gatu is about to get his chance to answer that very question. He's at the heart of this little parable we're going to unpack today, where a simple childhood game becomes this massive test of character. So picture this. It's a bright Sunday morning. You've got a group of friends, including our main characters, Gatu and Chinky, getting together for a game. But this is not just any old game. The prize is a taste of real, actual power. The winner gets to be king for a day.
Now, the game itself, passing the ball, is super simple. You know how it works. But for Gatu, the stakes feel sky high. He's not just playing to win. In his head, that crown is already his. He's totally sure of it.
And then, the music stops. He's done it. Gatu gets his wish, but this is the exact moment the game ends, and the real test begins. Because what really happens when a little bit of power suddenly lands right in your lap?
And this is where it gets really fascinating. The change in Gatu is, it's instant. There are no high fives, no celebrating with his friends. The second that imaginary crown is on his head, he stops being a playmate and starts being a commander.
His first command, aimed at his friend Bunty, it seems kind of harmless. But listen to the tone. It's that first little crack, the first sign that this isn't about playing with his friends anymore.
But then, the demands start to escalate. It's not just bossy anymore. It's totally unreasonable. He stopped seeing his friends as people. He sees them as objects, tools for his own comfort.
The orders just keep coming, and each one chips away at the fun until all that's left is this, petty tyranny. He's crossed a really important line here, moving from a game between friends to something that feels a lot like real disrespect.
And that is the breaking point. The game is officially over for everyone, except, King Gatu. What started out as fun has just soured into resentment. It's a classic, textbook example of power going straight to someone's head.
Okay, so this is the huge turning point. His friend Chinky steps in. And she doesn't just scold him or yell at him to stop. No, she does something much smarter, much more powerful. She basically holds up a mirror to him and explains what a leader is supposed to be.
And right here, Chinky just absolutely nails the core lesson of the entire story. She draws this crystal clear line. A true king, a real leader, listens and cares. A bully or, a villain, they just boss people around. It's that simple.
But Chinky doesn't just stop at stating the facts. She does something that forces Gatu to completely rethink everything he's done, just by getting him to change his perspective for a second.
This one question, it's the key that unlocks the whole thing. It's so simple, right? But it forces him to do something he hasn't done all day. Step outside of his own ego and actually try to feel what his friends are feeling.
And there it is. That's the light bulb moment. That's empathy. For the first time since he put on that crown, Gatu isn't thinking about himself. He's finally getting it. He's understanding the hurt that his actions caused.
And that just opens the floodgates. His friends start sharing exactly how his behavior made them feel, reinforcing the lesson. It's not some abstract idea anymore. It's about making his friend feel like a servant instead of a friend. That's real.
And with that realization, you get a real, sincere apology. He admits his huge misunderstanding of what being a leader, a king, is all about. And it's a common mistake, right? Thinking that leadership is just about telling people what to do, instead of actually caring for them.
All right, so what's the big takeaway from this little playground drama? Well, the story gives us this wonderfully clear and simple definition of what real leadership actually looks like.
See, a true leader isn't defined by a title or a crown or some fancy corner office. They're defined by their actions, how they listen, how they help, and how they treat people with basic dignity and respect.
And that is exactly why this matters. The principles of empathy, of listening, of service, those are the universal signs of any effective and respected leader, whether you're a CEO, a parent, or just the captain of a local sports team.
And here it is, the ultimate proof that he's learned his lesson. His first real act of leadership is to give up his power. He completely dismantles the very thing that corrupted him, choosing fairness and fun for the whole group over status for himself.
And that just leaves us with this one final thought. We often think power is about standing above other people,
But what if true power, the kind that actually matters, is only ever found when we all stand together?